My name is Esosa Ikolo, and I'm the director of Parent Power Plus. At Parent Power Plus, we provide trainings that empower parents and carers of pupils in primary school whom they are preparing for the 11 plus exam. With our trainings, we believe that these parents can adequately and effectively support their children to excel for the exams and also beyond when they are now in grammar school. So today I'd like to talk about the role of parent and family in the 11 plus. I'm sure you're wondering, what exactly am I talking about? And I'll tell you in a moment. It is so important, the role we play as parents in supporting our children, because you just need to do a Google search and you'll find tons of research studies that have proven that there is a consistently growing relationship between the engaging parent and the performance of a child in their education. And this reminds me of a conversation I had with my child's head teacher many years ago. He was my first. I needed to get it right as much as I could. And on the open day when I visited, I asked the head teacher tons of questions. And one of the questions I asked was, how do foreign parents cope? As in, how do their children cope amongst other children born to indigenous parents? So my child was born here, but I was foreign. I am foreign. But I just wanted to understand if there was anything different in the performances. And he dismissed my fears immediately, saying, not at all. That the one thing that he has seen that works, that drives good performance, is the support system a child has at home, beyond the classroom. And I let that point sink in me that day, and I have carried it all through the years, realizing how correct the head teacher was, and how true his point is even today. So I tutored my child, who has fortunately gone into a grammar school. But you see, I learned so much. It was a struggle when I started. I didn't know much about the system. I was totally alien to the 11 plus. I still recall when I found out about it, and I almost pulled out my hair wondering, why didn't I know beforehand? But anyway, I learned so much, and I began to document my experience. And it was from my experience and my lessons learned that I began to teach and train other parents. And the number one thing we talk about at Parent Power Plus, and in fact is in our first module, is the role of parent and family. Because we believe that when you get things right in the home front, everything just adds up. It's like a building block. With the right foundation, every other block you put on top will just sit just fine. And at the end, you see a beautiful house and you'll be like, voila. Okay. So today, I'm going to touch on a few areas to help other parents understand their role and how, if they do such or certain things, the dividends will pay off in their children's performance in such an exam as the 11 plus. So number one is about making the home a safe haven for love and protection. Our children need to feel loved at home. They need to feel protected at home. And you as a parent, you know what I mean. It's showing them that you are there for them, that you love them, you are ready to support them, making sure that when they come into the house, they feel safe. They embrace it as their home, not that they are running away from home. They are keen not to come back to the house. No, we need to do all we can to ensure that there is peace and tranquility to the best of our abilities in the home front. So when our children come and they experience that, they breathe in such lovely, loving, peaceful air, they have the right mindset to sit down and want to study. Imagine your child walking into a home where there is so much argument, there's so much fighting, there's so much disorganization. They will struggle to sit down to open a book and read, let alone do some maths or do a homework. No, it will take an extraordinary child to excel without such an environment created for that child. Okay. Another thing is about ensuring that the environment is stimulating wherever they are studying, is stimulating and conducive enough for them. It's unkind to be blasting the radio or the television in the same environment that your child is trying to study. What message are you sending? Remember, as parents, we are their role models. What message are we sending when we are doing that? Or it may just mean making sure that their study area has the right desk, the eye-catching stationery, because trust me, certain children with certain learning styles do so well when they have the lovely, colored, nice layout environment to study. It makes a whole lot of difference. So parents, understand that we need to ensure that our children have the requisite materials and environment to study and do well. If a place a child is studying is jam-packed with a lot of things, but before the child can get to a notebook, they will have, pushed things out of their way. It affects everything. We just need to do what we can to ensure that where they are studying, where they sleep, is conducive, because a child who has a good amount of sleep or sleeps in a conducive environment will wake up happy and ready to face the day. You just need again to research into how much sleep plays a role in the life of a child. Depending on the age of a child, each child requires a certain amount of sleep. And so if their environment is not conducive enough to help them sleep, to ensure that if you don't ensure they go to bed on time, we'll be saying good morning to a grumpy child who doesn't even want to go to school, or who goes to school and is falling asleep. And that has a knock-on effect after the school hours. They come home and it just carries on and carries on. So these are essentials that we have to put in place for our children to excel in their studies. I also want to talk about being a present parent. When we are present as parents, it means we are there enough to identify, to observe, to know how to support our children, or to know if they are experiencing challenges and how we can be there for them. A present parent is a parent who is interested in their children's welfare as well as educational progress. A present parent is one who can tell, oh, you have been working too much, my dear daughter. Take a break. Go watch a movie, or come, let's go for a walk. A present parent is a parent who attends parents' evening, who cares enough to stop once in a while in the playground and have a chat with the teacher to find out how their child is performing and how they can support. A present parent is a parent who, even though they've hired a private tutor, they ask questions about their child's progress. How was he today? How did she perform today? Oh, I noticed that she had a low grade in verbal reasoning. What can I do at home to support my child? That's who a present parent is. A present parent is a parent who understands and applauds their child for good work, and encourages their child when they don't do as much as is expected. But they don't tell off the child. They don't make the child feel bad. They show enough support, and they are there to hold the hand of their child all the way. A present parent is one who doesn't get frustrated because the child isn't doing well. No, he or she goes out to find out how they can be there for their child, understanding that every child is different, and so you don't compare with Mr. A's child or Mrs. B's daughter. No. I remember the story of a teacher, a friend of mine, who said her younger brother was so different. He was slow to understanding things, unlike his other siblings, and he was just way behind in his education. He said, but her parents didn't give up on the boy. They supported the boy, helped him in every way possible. Now, how could the parents have supported if they were not present parents? They were present enough to identify that there was a gap in the boy's knowledge, in the boy's education. And so they could then begin to figure out or find out how they could support the boy. And what she said was that the boy today has hit all the bars that he struggled to. He's even excelled beyond his siblings who seem to have gone way ahead of him when they were growing up. He's doing so well today, and she's ever so proud of the brother. Now, imagine if the parents were not bothered enough, were not present, were not intentional about how they were supporting their child. I always tell my parents when I train them, I said, being a parent and having a child in the school system is like planting a plant in your back garden. When you plant the seed and it begins to germinate, if you don't nurture it, if you don't water it, if you don't ensure that there's enough sunshine or that the soil is inside, it's good enough, the plant, it will only be a matter of time for that plant to die off or to have a stunted growth. That's exactly how it is. You know, I'm ever so happy when I hear teachers say no child is unable to achieve anything. Every child has the capability. It's just about how we support that child. There are so many learning styles that children have. Do you as a parent understand the learning style of your child? Or you cannot be bothered and you just want to send your child to a private tutor when you know that child will prefer to learn among other children, or vice versa could be the case. You are happy to let your child go to a tuition center to learn among, say, 10 other children, when truly what your child needs is a one-to-one tuition. Are you observant enough to understand the study or the learning type and the learning requirement of your child so you can provide it? As parents, it's our role. They are children. They don't know any of this. Sometimes they do, and they even try to tell us, do we listen? Do we listen? Are you present enough to know if your child is struggling, and then you want to support them? You want to teach them about, even if you don't succeed this time, you can succeed again. That's resilience. So many times in life, you will agree with me that life is not a bed of roses. We have the ups and we have the downs. But you know what? We can't remain down there forever. We need to pull ourselves back up. And so when your child comes from school and says, I hate school, I hate the subject, do you just say what subject it is it? And they say, oh, geography, and you say, oh, forget it. No. We have to do what we can to support our children. Find help. Do research. And that brings me to my last point about vulnerability. We need to be vulnerable and honest with our children. Tell them the truth about life. Don't always paint a picture of, I had a very good upbringing. I had a very good educational background. I did so well. I didn't fail any exam. Tell them the truth. If you really didn't fail, tell them the truth. But tell them that there might come times when they will not achieve as much as they set out to achieve. What do they do then? That's you being honest, and you're inculcating the right values about life, because there will be times when things they set out to do don't get accomplished. What do they do? There are times, for example, when I try to teach my son a particular subject or topic, my children, and I don't know it. I don't go saying, pretending that I don't know it and telling them, no, you should know it. Is your level math or is your level nonverbal reasoning? Figure it out. No. When we both try and I see that I can't figure it out, I tell them, leave it with me. I'll go find out how to solve it. And I go to the first source, which is Google, and I see if I can get similar problems that I can understand first, make sense of before I teach them. And every time, I have always found a solution. If I don't find it on Google, I go to my friends, I go to my family, or I go to my mentor. Now, what am I teaching my child as a result? I'm teaching him that there will be times in life when you cannot solve a problem, be it educational or otherwise. But there is always likely to be a solution out there. There is always likely to be somebody who holds the solution. So I'm telling them, you go find out. You don't quit. You can't figure it out. You don't quit. You find help. You seek for help. That is the value I'm teaching them, because I don't know it all. Yes, I don't have any formal educational qualification. I have a science engineering background, but that doesn't mean I know everything. And I was happy the other day when my teacher friend told me that she doesn't know it all herself. Who does? Nobody knows it all, but we just need to know what to do when we get to that point of, oh, there is a need. But how do we know there is a need? It's by being a present parent. So I hope this has been very useful to you. It's so important, and that's why we spend the first module in our trainings dwelling on the role of parenting and the home front. There is so much we talk about. There is so much to be done. And once you get it right in that front, everything falls in place, everything. I can tell you how much our parents have appreciated the fact that we talk about and we teach about what they need to do. This is just the tip of the iceberg I've just talked about. But I hope it gives you some insight, some introduction into your role in making sure your child can have the right support to excel in such an important exam as the 11 plus. All right, now I've come to the end of it and I hope you found it useful. If you did, please like it, subscribe for future notifications of our videos, and share with your friends. Above all, let me have your comments, and if you would like to drop me an email, please do so at hello@parentpowerplus.co.uk. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye bye now.